Britnell.
Afternoon. Now, basically, I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. Major concern is the shopping centre known as the Linwood Village on the corner of Worcester Street and Stanmore Road. There's a cycleway being put down the road, and there is concern about loss of car parks and this sort of thing, but the major concern is the imminent closing of Worcester Street at Fitzgerald Ave to traffic going up and down Worcester Street. So this is cutting off access to the one-way system, so anybody wanting to get onto the one-way or come off the one-way go down there. As the previous submitters have said, this traffic is now going to be pushed onto the adjacent streets, either Hereford, Gloucester, Armagh or Avonside Drive. And the loss of that traffic to the village is going to mean the demise of the village. At the moment, our concern is the survival. If that can be achieved, then there is the revival prospect. Originally, they did have a Linwood Village plan they looked at putting together. Without much thought, that seems to have been overlaid by the cycleway plan, which just wipes out any idea of the previous plan for the survival of the village, because if we haven't got, dare I say, if we haven't got cars going up there, or if we haven't got the shoppers, it only takes 1 or 2% knocked off the top of any of those businesses to put them out of business. It's as simple as that. Previous speaker talked about the butcher shop. She was in there the other day. They're shaky, wondering what to do. Most of the other businesses in there are operated by new arrivals to New Zealand, immigrants, from various places. Not all of them are totally au fait with how the system works, or maybe have some language difficulties, so they haven't necessarily been able to get involved in the process of what's going on in their area totally. They haven't been consulted properly. The consultation process is totally, I don't know if you call it inept or planned to fail, on our behalf anyway, because it was non-existent. I myself run a couple of businesses in Worcester Street at the other end. No consultation came to us. The consultation decision was to stop the consultation process at the intersection before us. So the last block wasn't even told what was going on. Didn't concern us apparently. Though, according to the Act, anybody who is to be affected must be consulted. So this is not council rules. These are not something that you guys have dreamt up. This is an Act of Parliament which is not being followed to the letter, therefore not properly. People are missing out. We missed out. We didn't get the opportunity to, on the last day that there was for submissions, we found out about the proposal. We didn't really have time to consider it much. We rushed in, managed to chuck something in and get involved, but basically too late. So the thing is, I've got here as well, what I'll just chuck in here, is it wasn't for here, but we actually prepared a document which is a bit like a petition. It's a brief statement. It's been signed by I think it's about 18, 19 businesses and about 6 community groups that are involved in our local area. It wasn't gathered for presentation at this particular stage, but I want to present it now anyway. There is 1 or 2 other people that want to sign it that we haven't managed to catch up with. And all of these people are basically just the businesses. This isn't the general public as such. There's businesses who believe they're going to be affected, and other groups. We've spoken also to the school on Gloucester Street who would like to join this particular action, but of course they've got to put it back through their board, and it's a bit of a process before they can sort of get formally involved. And there's a couple of other businesses that we just haven't managed to connect with to get a signature, but they do want to be involved. So basically it's everybody. Everybody here is in total fear that they are about to lose their life's work, their life savings, and their family security is all going to go down the tube. Because for some reason, someone at the council has decided that that set of lights has to be stopped for the cycleway. They're going to stop transit for cars up and down Worcester Street, but they're still going to have a set of lights for the cycles and the pedestrians. So where's the advantage? And if they're saying that one of the theories is that it's going to speed up progress of vehicles going up and down Fitzgerald Ave. But how's that going to work if we've taken all the cars that were on Worcester Street and put them into the next set of lights at Hereford and Gloucester? And if it's about pollution that we're creating these cycleways, how's that going to work when all these extra cars are now sitting at the lights at Gloucester Street? And so it now takes you 4 sets of rotations to get through the lights instead of 2. So how's that going to work? Where's the gain in pollution there? What happened when we got the cars, instead of just cruising up and down there, now they're parked at the set of lights on the next street? So it's mainly nonsensical. There has been no cost-benefit analysis done. There is no numbers. There is no figures. No one even knows how many bike riders there are in Christchurch, let alone how many bikes there are, how many were sold last year, how many are anticipating to sell this year, how many is there going to be in 10 years' time. There's nothing. So basically we want something done, because this is the destruction of one of the oldest little shopping zones in town. And the other thought is on some people's minds is, what is the council doing? Trying to shut it down because they don't want competition for the inner city, which is now struggling. And is going to struggle, because part of our submission is in fact, where is the opportunity for these small businesses to get started, to operate in town? They're not going to be in town. All the rent's too dear. There's no opportunity for small-time start-up. They're all businesses who are going to be in town or have already got previous experience of some sort, money behind them, and maybe a name that they've built up over years, and now they're moving into town. But for some small, someone wants to open a dress shop, I don't think they'll be doing it in Christchurch Central. There's not many shops left. I own some shops down on the corner of Limit Ave, which I was planning on fixing. I've spent money on architects and engineers. We've got it all lined up to do it, but I'm not sure whether we now want to throw the extra money at doing it. What for? I mean, is there even a value in me doing that? Because originally we wanted to restore those shops so we could say, well, here's some shops that are going to still be available for people at a reasonable price, where a new business might be able to get in and give it a go. But now there'll be about 80% of whatever traffic was left. They've had, how many goes they had at Worcester Street? They've knocked it off at Limit Ave. They've gone down, at that stage we were running a business there, just about half the business, and quite a few businesses went out at Stanmore Road at the time. Then they went down to Latimer Square, they knocked it off there. About another half the businesses that were at Stanmore Road fell off. Okay, and there was blank shops there that were just, the fronts were just blanked off. They were used for nothing, for storage. And that's how it was up until the earthquake. And now we're going to what? Just say, now we've got empty property there. We've got, well, are the owners going to want to rebuild their property? What for? If they can't rent it out, they can't rent it out if the person can't rely on having some customers drive past. What's going to happen? Is it just going to be some bike riders on the weekend that are going to support all these businesses? Are they going to be going in now the butcher shop? I don't know. I doubt it. So what I say is, quite frankly, it's a total fail with the design and getting involved with the community to find out what is actually required there, what's needed, what's wanted, what the future potential is, all the rest of it. So there's already been Goodness knows how many people have gone bankrupt and gone where. We don't know what's happened to them after that. No one really cares. They just disappear off the map somewhere. So is that what it is for everybody else that I've got on this list? Is that what their destiny is?
Certainly
I don't know.
not. But look, thank you very much. The time.
Oh, just one other thing.
No, you've gone well over the 5 minutes.
Have I done the 5 minutes?
I've simply...
Car parking at the bus exchange is non-existent. If you're a member of the public trying to drop someone off and pick someone up at the bus exchange, you've got to park on a taxi stand or a bus stop. Another failed bit of design work. And that's what happens when you try and rush all the stuff through too way quickly.
Yep.
Less haste, more speed.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Right.